Come on in, I'm CM Coleman and welcome to my home. Today we are going to Christmas decorate. I know some of you are thinking it's way too early, but it's not. There are a couple things to remember about this. One of the big things to remember about this is that the reason that some of my decorations are done the way that they are is that they're going to be up for a long time. In fact, today is November 3rd, I do believe. And then these will be up until after Christmas. So by the time you see this, I think this comes out like the 13th or 19th of November. So yeah, these will have been up for a little while when you see them, and I started decorating a little while ago. But let's get into this, and I'll explain some of the things that we are going to do. So we'll have voiceover me, talk about the things which I've done in the past, but as with all of these decorating things, the first thing that I do is I take down all of the old decorations. That means all of the material things, all of the flowers, that sort of stuff. It all comes down before I do anything. Then, of course, I wash everything that's going to go back up, the material stuff, that sort of stuff. Okay, got that all the way. So now let's get to some of the bigger things, because one of the first things that I did, you've seen the tree, the flocking the tree. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and click that card, which I do believe is up there. It will take you to that video where I do flock my own Christmas tree. But I also knew that I wanted to have window garland, and can you see that? I don't think you can. I also know I wanted to have garland other places. However, here's something I do know about flocking. It comes off everywhere. Like, it comes off everywhere. And also, I have them on windows. I'm now looking up at ladybugs on my ceiling. I have them at windows with curtains. Well, I don't want the flocking on the curtains. So what I decided to do is I had a whole bunch of extra garland, so I spray painted it white. And while this is a good idea, this is also a bad idea. The day that I spray painted it was a really nice day. It was pretty cold, but it was a really nice day. Hang on just a second. Okay, had to get the ladybugs off the ceiling because that was driving me crazy. So, the garland. Painting it was a really good idea. Spray painting it, I used Rust-Oleum, I do believe, spray paint that was geared for plastic. It is flat white. It could have used 2 or 3 coats. However, I did not do 2 or 3 coats because the smell was atrocious. I should have done this outside, like back in June when you could do these things outside. And yeah, it would have looked a whole lot better, but I didn't. And it really did. Like, it smelled up all the condos. So I only did the 1 coat, but it still looked pretty good. So once I had my garlands all sprayed, the next thing to do was to hang them. Hanging the garland is really, really simple. When you just do it, I did mine in sections, so I did the center section and then the 2 sides so that way they would meet correctly. bedroom, it didn't work out exactly right because for whatever reason that one piece is shorter. Am I upset about that? No, really couldn't care less. Whatever. But I then put on my Christmas lights. If you're wondering about the stuff that I use, I will link it down below in the description, and it also should probably show up as cards about some of the items that I use. But all of this goes that way. So you have your garland up and everything, but that's not everything. Because I also wanted to put some wreaths up. I wanted to put some pictures up. Let voiceover me explain all of that. Once the wreath was up, then it came time to do things like pillows. Now, these were pillows that I have made years and years and years ago. They are of a sort of like a quilted fabric, sewed a simple hidden zipper into them. Really easy to make, really simple to do. Love these pillows, and I think they go really well with the theme. However, I also had some new pillows which were sort of like fluffy, and they sort of reminded me of new fallen snow, so I used those on the couch also. So when it comes to trees, I have 3 in my condo. I have one in my living room, one in my bedroom, and of course one in the office. Now the trees needed some light, so I put on what I considered the normal lights. Now the one thing you will notice is that the other 2 trees, aside from the one in the living room, are not white. They are not flocked, and we're going to come back to that one pretty soon to deal with the fact that these trees don't necessarily fit my theme. But they will fit once I'm done with them. But there are other things we need to do. And so we move on to those things. As you've seen, it's not all just lights and pictures, and I am leaving this in because that picture is not staying. I make mistakes. I do things that I do not like, but I decided I would go with that picture for the moment. But once I'd seen it, I was just like, no, something looks off. Something looks like it needs to be done. And I knew that I had a wreath that I had already spray painted white, so we went with that wreath on the TV cabinet because we have some special plans with that wreath, and you will see that in a second. But I also had garland that I could then use on the top of the TV cabinet, which will give me that piney kind of look without definitely doing too much. Now you'll notice, like I said before, that garland is not green, and there is a reason for that, because I'm using some garland that I will definitely use again without the whole snow feature. So I wanted to make sure that I had garland that I could use again. That's going to become important. Like, that's going to become really, really important soon. Getting the lights on there, which I think the lights are what really, really do this whole setup justice. The lights on this just take it over the top. And when you get to see the final pictures, because we'll have pictures during the day and we'll have pictures at night, but when you get to see all of those pictures, you can see how that garland how the lights just absolutely make it magical, and it really does. The other thing about this is, makes it really, really bright. Now, these lights are special lights. They are linked down below in the description. I love them because of how much light they have, and the fact that they are warm white versus other lights which I tried out, which were like very yellow-green, and I was not a fan of yellow-green lights whatsoever. Instead, I wanted to have warm white lights on my everything, the garlands on the windows, the garlands elsewhere. But yeah, these warm white lights look really good, I think. While this is not the best angle for this is me putting spray painted garland on top of what I call my hutch. It's just a glass bookcase on top of a dresser, but you'll notice that it is barely has that white shade. It looks, I think these things look more frosted than snowed on, and that's sort of important, but you can't really tell that that's there, and that will become an issue that we can deal with really simple. And I mean, how we deal with this is so simple it's not even funny, because the tree in the office also is not white. It is not flocked, it is not spray painted, it is just regular green pine. So what can we possibly do with regular green pine? Simple. You can take your regular green pine and then use picks, like the picks that you can get from a store, or you can make your own. I used picks from a store, and then they were snow covered, which then meant that all I had to do was take those snow covered picks and put them into the tree to get me that frosted tree kind of look that I was really going for. But that comes much later. So the picks on the tree gave me the perfect idea. I couldn't really change, or didn't want to spray paint the garland, take it down, and do all those sort of things. So I thought, what if I put the picks into the garland on the hutch? And it worked. It gives you a lot of depth because the garland itself has that lightly frosted look. The picks themselves also have that lightly frosted look, and it gives it this really cool kind of look to it. It looks like the whole garland is frosted or snow covered, but that's your brain saying that it is, because it does. Then also on the table, I put some picks into the pine that I had there, which makes it also look pretty cool, but it does shed. That is something to think about. It sheds a lot. Then what I did is, in the bedroom, I then put some pillows onto the chaise lounge so that way I could get a nice snowy kind of look on there. Okay, so once we have the wreaths and the garlands and then the pillows, don't forget I'm also changing out pillows so that way everything came down to one picture. that picture. I really loved the subtlety of it. The fact that it wasn't over the top. The fact that you didn't have, like, it was snow, but they weren't like snowflakes with different patterns and all that sort of stuff. I wanted something that during the day, because let's face it, during the day, you do have a lot of time where you're sitting here like this without the Christmas stuff up, and I knew that I wanted something that would look good during the day. Oh, somebody texted me. Nope, it was just Google. But, let me see if I can find this. But the big thing is at night. So here's what happens. This is the Christmas on. And so let's give you a few pictures of what it looks like at night. Now, one of the big things that I have, I'm using my phone and I'm using the Google, what's it now? Gemini? I think by the time you see this, this will be Google Gemini and not Google Home anymore. I'm using that app so that I can control all of my Christmas to come on at the same time, and I can also have it go off at the same time. The other thing about this is the tree. One of the things that I did differently with the tree this year is that there are two sets of lights. It was a pre-lit tree, but then I also put in lights that actually can change color and those sort of things, and you probably will notice in some of the pictures that it's flashing and that. I actually like the subtlety of it. It is very subtle, like very, very subtle. And that's the big thing that I wanted this year. I want it subtle. I want it so that it is so calming and so relaxing to just sit here in the evening with just the Christmas lights on and just enjoy. I don't have any of the normal, well, I have green and white. Those are my Christmas colors for the year. And then with the warm white lights. But looking around, I really, really enjoy this. Like, I enjoy this more than I could possibly say. It is so peaceful, so soothing. I've actually been told that this is a form of minimalist Christmas decorations because you'll notice that there's not a whole bunch of bulbs and those sort of things. There's just the fake greenery, the fake greenery, and then the lights. And, of course, a few pillows. And that's it. It does give you that holiday feeling without feeling overwhelmed all the time, and that's what I really, really wanted. I wanted a peaceful, nice, calming, soothing holiday season, and that's what I got. And so for the now month, or almost 2 months that it will be up, I'll be able to enjoy it. The big thing is right now, by 5:30, it's almost dark, like almost dark by 5:30, so the lights can come on then. All of these are LED lights. I'm not using anything which is like the big bulbs and those sort of things. Not using any of those. These are all LEDs, which do use a little bit less electricity. I now have them so they're in a warm white versus a couple years ago I had that were supposed to be warm white, but they ended up looking more greeny yellow. Didn't like that at all. So these are very nice, very wonderful, warm white. It is just so peaceful, so relaxing. I am enjoying every bit of this. Like every single bit of this I am enjoying. It's just so nice. And now I don't have to do any of my Christmas decorating. Now you're probably wondering about what about wrapping packages? I will wrap my packages in white butcher paper and then or in green and then put white on it so that way it keeps with the theme. The packages look nice. I have the tree collar. We'll see. I'm not real big on that one right now. But everything else is really nice. Now, yes, I will try to show you what I did outside, which was not a lot. Not a lot at all, because I have outdoor lights which help do the outdoor decorating for me. And I didn't realize how cool that would be to have your lights do all the decorating for you, but it is. It's really nice. Well, I'd love to hear, are you doing a theme this year? Is Christmas decorating a real hassle for you? Because I have been planning this since last year. So I knew what my colors were going to be, I knew the style that was going to be, and I knew how relaxing I wanted it to be. And I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Follow me on other social media, which I'm sure I linked somewhere, and you can see the pictures throughout the season, see if it changes up any. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I get to see you again the next time. Oh, wait a minute. I have to stop this and say, hey, at this time, I want to thank these wonderful people who stick with me through thick and thin. It's been a rough few months. That's why we didn't do Halloween decorating this year. But they really help keep this channel going. They help support the different things that we've got coming up. And they also just are there to help support me through everything which I've been going through. If you want to see the behind the scenes portions of this and see these videos early, you can become a channel member or you can become a Patreon member, and you get these videos early and you get a behind the scenes weekly vlog of what's going on in my life. And it lets you know why things are the way that they are. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.